Taking your first cruise? Nervous? We can help.
No, we can't.
Yes, we can.
Stay tuned and find out.
Welcome to My Travel Window, a channel dedicated to helping you travel as far as you can while you still can. Today our topic is first cruising. Most people are nervous before they get on a cruise ship for the first time.
Yeah, that's because most people are wusses.
Look, Bird Brain, people know about the Titanic. They know cruise ships sink. They know people fall off of cruise ships.
Okay, look at facts. In terms of deaths per million miles of passenger travel, which is safer, plane or car?
A plane by several times.
Okay, which is safer, plane or a cruise ship?
I don't know.
Cruise ship. Over the long haul, upwards of 10 times safer. Look it up.
Well, people are nervous about getting sick too. Remember COVID, norovirus?
Yeah, well, on the other hand, which industry devoted itself to addressing those issues like their future depended on it? Cruise industry, because it did. How many cruises have you been on?
About a dozen.
How many times you gotten sick?
3 times that I recall.
So at the end of the day, did your sickness make you regret taking the cruise?
No, it was always worth it. But people are also worried about motion sickness, and that's a real thing.
Yeah, well, you were the one in our family that got motion sickness growing up. How many days have you spent on a cruise ship now?
About 120, I think.
You ever been seasick?
No. I got queasy for about 3 or 4 days when the seas were the roughest. But I took a pill and I used some pressure bands, and it was fine. And that was really when we were doing a transatlantic and we were following in the aftermath of a hurricane.
How many times have you been on a ship, looked outside and said, hey, I didn't realize we were moving, because the ride was so smooth.
Lots of times.
Exactly my point. These are huge ships. They're smooth, especially if you stay in the cabin, low and in the middle. They go out of their way to find the smoothest water they can. Whenever they don't, they have stabilizers and they slow down to make the trip more enjoyable.
You said we can't help people with nervousness, but you seem to have all the answers. So it sounds helpful to me.
Not really, because these are all smoke screens for the real problem.
Okay, Einstein, so what is the real problem?
Fear of the unknown. And the only way to cure that is to make it known. All the logic in the world is not going to overcome nervous fear of the unknown.
What exactly?
Just do it. Look at it this way. There's going to be 30 million cruise passengers this year, more than ever before. What do they know that the nervous first-time cruiser doesn't know? And are you willing to find out? Why do you cruise?
Well, that's easy. You unpack once. You show up in a new place every day. The destinations are beautiful. The food is fantastic. There's free entertainment. The prices are great for what you get. What's not to like? The steward takes care of you every day. The waiters wait on you hand and foot. Most things are included in the fare.
So you know all that. People told you all that before you cruised. How many years did people talk up cruising before you finally took your first cruise?
At least 5 years.
And why did you finally go?
Another couple invited us to join them, and they wouldn't accept our excuses to not go.
And are you glad you went?
Well, duh. We wouldn't have been on a dozen cruise ships since then if I weren't.
Okay, so my advice is listen to people like you and the 30 million other cruisers and just do it. That's the only way you're going to get over being a nervous cruiser. What's your advice for a first-time cruise?
Well, I would start with a modest trip, maybe 7 days, long enough for you to settle in and figure out what you like. I think sailing with a veteran cruiser would be helpful. We've helped a couple people and people have helped us, but don't take their advice for everything on board. Explore and find out what part of cruising works best for you. I'd also say pick a major cruise line like Princess or Royal Caribbean and a destination that is interesting but not exotic. You don't want your first trip to be Antarctica because that's not a normal trip. I would research the ports. You can see videos on our site or the sites that we have listed here as sites we like. But don't get carried away. We got sick on our first cruise because we tried doing 2 excursions a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And we also picked excursions that were as far away as possible. And so we spent 5 hours on a bus for a 1-hour excursion.
Okay, when you got back from your Alaska cruise, you said your daughter-in-law came into the cabin after the first night and said, "Hey, I think we're cruisers. Who knew?" It took them 1 night to figure it out. How long did it take you to figure out that you were a cruiser?
The very first night. We sailed out of Manhattan at night, past the Statue of Liberty, under the Verrazano Bridge. It was magical.
Was your first cruise your favorite? Or what is your favorite cruise?
The one I'm on, or the one I'm planning,
Any regrets?
not sailing sooner.
Aren't you glad I was here to make this a good video instead of your other garbage?
My other videos are not garbage.
Some are.
This one's not. Check it out as an idea for your next cruise. And see if I invite you to come along on the next video.
Yeah, you will. You need me.
Do not.
Do so.
Till next time,
Safe
safe
travels.
travels.